Alright guys, this is the Moccasin Jig that I'm going to show you guys how good this thing comes through color. I'm sure you guys can see that pretty good right there. And I'll explain it in the video here in a little bit, everything I like about this jig, but I just want to demonstrate how well this thing comes through brush and everything. You can see right in front of me there is actually a big giant brush pile there. It's off of a tree and everything, so just showing you guys here. Hopefully you can see all of it. So as you can see there, come through every bit of that, no problem at all. I'll even go a little bit farther up into it. Actually got hit as soon as it hit the water there, but little bitty guy. Like I said, guys, just jigs are just amazing how well they come through brush and different over logs and stuff like that. The head design is really what does it. Go up there, give you another guy, one more cast up here. And guys, I am not dragging this thing easy. I'm popping it through there pretty good, which typically is where you have a lot of problems with jigs getting hung up. So, like I said, this jig does very, very well. Go over here a little bit. A whole nother tree right there that I had cut down about 2 years ago and left it laying in there. There's quite a bit of brush and or branches laying in there yet. Oh, hang on. I think we've got a leaf. And also, guys, let me know what you think about this chest cam. This is kind of my first video with it. I want to see how well it works. Make sure it's all right for you guys. I'm actually going to walk down here, a little bit farther down the pond here, see if I can get another spot that's got some standing timber. We'll try it out. All right, guys. So, as you can see in front of me here, I got some standing timber there. Put this in about 2 or 3 years ago. It was actually some old barn posts that a guy had. It's actually my father-in-law had in his barn. They were about 15 foot long, so we just kind of drove them down in the mud and made some standing timber here. So see if we can get through this stuff with no problem. Show you guys. And I will mention too, there are about 4 Christmas trees that are sunk at the bottom of these. So if you're going to get hung up anywhere, this is where it's going to be. Let's see how it goes. And guys, I can feel that tree right now. It's sitting on top of them Christmas trees. Come through there, no problems. All right, we'll run it through there again. Get as close as I can to that tree there. Make sure it doesn't get stuck on or anything. I do have a small pile of brush that I have sunk right here in front of us. So I'll come through that too and show you guys. Like I said, guys, this thing just rolls right over that stuff with no problem at all. I will tell you, it slides through grass really, really well too. I've got no problems with it there either. And later in this video, I'll show you what I'm actually talking about with that head design of how it comes through and why it comes through as easy as it does. So, do one more time. We'll go right out here, go in that little brush there. Make sure you guys can kind of see that going on. And you guys can tell I'm not babying this thing. I'm hopping it through there pretty good, so it's not getting hung up. Alright guys, so that's the end of that. Like I said, watch the rest of the video and I'll explain everything on this jig. What's up, backyard bassin fans? Alright, today we are going to talk Moccasin Lures. These guys, I'm telling you, know what they're talking about when it comes to jigs. I am a huge jig guy myself. I fish jigs all the time. One of the main things I really look for in a jig is a head. There's a lot of jig companies out there. You've got football head, you've got, different styles of like a wider heads and stuff like that, or you'll have some that are just the regular Arky style heads, and then you got swim jig heads and stuff like that. There's a whole ton of different heads out there, but that is one of the first things I look for. I typically flip anything from a lot of docks, different pilings, to timber, to brush piles, to weed beds, stuff like that. That's what I typically throw in. So I have a very big problem with jigs out there, specifically like a football head jig. You're not going to throw that in a lot of brush and stuff like that. It gets hung up a ton. Now I know there's guys out there that are going to sit there and say, yeah, I throw my football head in all this brush and I never have any problems. Hey, good for you. I'm just telling you, I personally have a lot of issues with it, and I don't like that. And I fish a jig a lot. So with this company for Moccasin Lures, I'm going to tell you, these guys have absolutely nailed this head. It is an Arky style head. I'll show you guys here. That is the head right there. Now, as you can see, it's got nice coming up the sides there, nice pointed. And if you look, they put that eye on the correct way. I see so many companies, they'll put that eye the other way. Guys, that's going to do nothing but get you hung up in weeds and everything else. You're constantly going to be dragging stuff back with that. These guys absolutely nailed it with that head being, or that line right there being the right way with that eye. It's going to come through grass quick. It's going to come through, cover and everything a whole lot easier. It's not going to get hung up. Another thing that these guys really looked at, and I don't see a lot of other companies do, is a lot of guys like to swim their jigs. Problem with swimming a jig is, and when you get your trailer, is that thing constantly wants to go like this or whatever. These guys actually designed this head. If you can see there, on both sides, they've got little ridges dug in there. That's to keep that bait balanced and keep it going straight and true. So it doesn't sound like much, it don't look like much, but when you guys are out there throwing these jigs, really pay attention to that. It makes a big difference. I'm really telling you, it does. Another thing with these guys that I really, really like, you get a lot of jigs out there. I will be the first to tell you guys, when it comes to weed guards, there are so many weed guards out there that are so stiff, you have to trim them down, cut them at a little bit of an angle, make sure they come down off that hook real easy, or you're going to miss hook sets. These guys, I think this is a 5/32 weed guard here, but you can see This thing comes over there very, very easy. I mean, there is no problem with that at all. So I'm not even gonna trim this down. They're about perfect right where they're at there. I have no problems with that at all. One other thing you're gonna notice on their jigs is they've got the little rattles. Um, I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this or not. Let me get it separated here from the bands, but they got little rattles in there. I first tried rattles probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Didn't really think they made much of a difference until I really started getting into like heavy brush. And what I mean by that is I can get into brush and bring that jig up. If this is my limb, I'll bring that jig up like this, and I can sit there and just shake it right there. And all that's going to happen is those rattles are going to be rattling, and that skirt's going to be pulsating. And that gets bit a lot. I really, really like that. That extra sound really, really helps out. Now, if you guys don't like the rattles, it's not a big deal. They were really nice. They didn't integrate it up into here. It's actually just a separate band down here, and you can actually just pull that, and it pulls straight off your bait keeper and everything right there, and it's a whole separate deal. You can actually throw it on another one if you want. If you want to try it on something else, but they're really nice rattles. So another thing, these guys is hooks. You guys can see it. That's not a light wire hook. That's a heavy duty hook, extremely sharp. You got no problems with it bending or nothing like that. Here in this same video, I'm going to show you, I've got a little short video clip of me tossing it actually into brush, and I explain a little bit of that, and you guys can see just how well that thing comes in and out of cover with no issues at all. And I flip it pretty hard through that cover, to make sure you guys can tell it's not going to get hung up in there. And like I said, that's just their flipping jig there. They got several other jigs. This is their little finesse jig. And I will tell you, this finesse jig, I don't know if I can get it on my hand here, but you can see it's got that nice little archy style head, just like the flipping jig does. But it's got a stand-up head there too. And you can see right there, guys, it stands straight up, no problems at all. Really nice. One other thing I will say about their jigs, as soon as you get them, you're going to notice how nice and shiny those heads are. The reason that is because most of the guys out there in the jig company put one coat of clear coat on these, and that's all they do. That's kind of a standard across the board there. But these guys actually use a little bit thicker clear coat, and they put 2 coats on. So you're not down just that one coat, which is going to last a whole lot longer. You're going to have a lot less wear and tear on there, and no problems at all with that paint. So once again, the weed guard drill light, no problems with it at all. It's cut right about where I like it, so there's no trimming on this at all. That's why I really love these jigs. There is hardly anything that I have to do with these jigs. Got some great colors going on. This one here is actually called the Texas Pumpkin. And I believe it or not, that's actually one of my favorite colors. I absolutely love having that brown and green tint to it with a couple strands of that chartreuse. I have had a whole lot of really good luck with that where I live. I don't have perfectly clear water, but I don't have dirty water either. It's kind of just a mix in between. And that little bit clearer water, that thing is just, it dominates. It really does. I really love that color. So, check that out on there. And like I said, guys, I'll link all this stuff down in the description. I'm going to link Moccasin Lures down there too. You guys really need to go check them out. They're well worth it. So the prices are great. No problem at all. Just show you guys, that's kind of their bait keeper there. Just normal hook in there. It's a pretty good one. Pretty solid. But that right there, with that being said, with that bait keeper, if I was to change anything on this jig whatsoever, this would be the only thing. I mean, straight out of the package, these things are unbelievably awesome. But that is probably the only thing I would ask to ever change on there would be that bait keeper, just have like a little bit of a screw lock on there. And I'm not saying for the finesse jigs, but I would definitely say for the flipping jigs. And the reason I like that is a lot of times you'll get fish that come up and nip that back and try to pull that. And that'll help you, keep that bait on there a little longer. Like I said, these bait keepers do work good. Don't get me wrong. But like I said, that's, if I had anything to complain about, that would be it. And that's not much to complain about. Like I said, you guys definitely go check these jigs out. Well worth the money. Well worth the time. If you have any problems at all, or you're putting an order in or something like that, I will tell you these people are absolutely fantastic to work with. Extremely nice. They'll take care of you for whatever you need. So, you guys go check them out. I'm going to roll this next footage. like I said, it's just me kind of throwing in the pond at a couple brush piles just to show you guys physically that it doesn't get hung up. I will tell you that I was throwing this on the Mock Speed Stick. It's a heavy rod. It's a fast taper. It's a pretty stiff rod. It's what I like throwing my flipping jigs on, as I like to feel it a lot better. The reel was a Shimano Crowd K reel, 8-to-1 gear ratio. If you guys need to know any of that, I'll link both of them down in the description too. So you guys enjoy a little bit of footage, and we'll see you guys again next time. Thanks.